Hey there, good morning everyone. Friday, the 10th of November 2023. This morning's devotional is a reading from Isaiah chapter 6, verse 8, which reads, Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send? And who will go for us? And I said, Here I am, Lord, send me. Have you ever wondered about the character of some people who minister? Have you even thought to yourself, how on earth can that person be used by God? After all, look at what they've done in their life. Look at that person themselves. Well, here's some good news for some and bad news for others. Good news for those who society has rejected because society has deemed them as bad for service within the ministry, and bad news for those who think they are worthy of service in ministry. Have a look at the sort of characters that God calls into ministry. And here we look at the Old Testament characters of Moses. Moses was a murderer. He was an outcast. He was supposed to be killed at birth. But through God's grace and provision, he wasn't. And look what happened to him. David, another one, a murderer, an adulterer, a great king. God used him as well. God chooses to use the outcasts of society because they recognize in themselves they are not worthy to serve in the church or ministry. They are called and qualified by God, and those whom God calls and qualifies, he endorses. I know this because for those who knew me in my former life and ways have also asked us, Are you a priest? With a shocked expression. One thing that stands out for me every time is that sometimes you have to reach rock bottom before you realize your need for God in your life. And then when you reach that point of total submission, God sees something in you that the world cannot, does not, and refuses to see. But I'm not going to harp too much on this point. But what I can say is, allow yourself to be used by God. Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11 comes to mind where God writes, For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. We also find a clear reminder that God does not let us try and weasel our way out of the calling that easily. Jeremiah tried that, but look at what God says to him in Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 7. But the Lord said to me, Do not say, I am only a child. You must go to everyone I send you to and say whatever I command you. Moses tried this as well, but he really gave a good stick. He tried everything in the book. He first started saying, I stutter. And we can have a look at this little interesting dialogue in Exodus chapter 3, from verse 11 to Exodus chapter 4, verse 17. I will never forget the day that I was told that I was on retreat to be ordained as a deacon. And at the retreat, the retreat leader said, this is like standing on a riverbank and you want to get into the boat. You've got 1 foot in the boat and 1 foot on the riverbank. The choice is yours to put both feet in the boat or to keep both feet on the riverbank. I can truthfully and honestly say I don't regret it one moment in my life. My dear friends, never let other people disqualify you from God's service. God is not interested in their opinion. The world might be, but God isn't. God is interested in you. He has plans for you. And while the work is hard, the rewards are out of this world. Consider the calling that God has on your life this weekend. Surrender to Him. You will not regret it. Now may the Lord be with you, may He bless you, may He cause His face to shine upon you, and be with you always. Goodbye.